It's a beautiful Sunday evening right here in the city of Lagos. I don't know how it is wherever it is you're listening to me or watching me right from YouTube, but I want to believe that you are okay. I want to believe that your environment is actually okay and that you're okay, you're good. It's not been the easiest of times this period. Things are quite very difficult. People are literally trying to survive. I usually recall during this time of the year, you begin to hear all the knockouts and all the fireworks very, very early. You're seeing persons planning events. The streets are getting bubbly. Decorations have begun. But in my city of Lagos, or precisely this location where I am, I'm not seeing any of that holiday mood. I'm not seeing that preparation. And those who are actually planning events, I don't know how you're doing it, but well done. So the big question is, how are you doing? How are you coping? How are you managing? That's basically the big question, because the way things are going and with the way Nigerians are clamoring for some sort of refuge, some sort of sustenance, something to subsidize the harsh effect of the economy, then if something is not done as soon as possible, I don't want to say what the negative impact of that is going to be. So I'll use this opportunity to implore you that if there is anybody you can help, please do help. I beg you, do help. Whether it's for food, drugs, assistance, whatever it is you can actually do, please do help, because trust me, it's not easy. Companies are closing down. Multinational companies are closing down. The economic space is not attractive for these investors to come in. And those who are already here are thinking of moving up somewhere else, moving to another country, another African country where the economic situation is possibly profitable for them. And a couple of these businesses are no longer operational as they used to. Some are actually now being more remote because the demand has dropped significantly. I read somewhere that NNPCL is already complaining that they're not making profits because there is low demand. Aviation industry is something else. Right now, people who are applying that particular route for applying that particular channel for transportation, they must be earning in dollars, not in naira. And then possibly their salary per month is of a certain level. So if you can help anybody at this point in time to go through this period, regardless, please do. A couple of people are antsy. All right, people, they vex. It's somehow how people are reacting to issues. Any little thing sparks anything. And it has gotten to a point where nobody minds. At that moment, anybody's life could be lost. Do you know that 2 days ago, I read about an Enugu singer who was shot by the police, riddled with bullets, and the police excuse was that it was an accidental discharge. A young man. So no one is safe, even in your house, in your room. It's not safe. So the question is, what are we going to do between now and the next 3 years if things have gotten to this point? No electricity, no water supply, no good road, transportation has gotten so high, food extremely expensive, no security. So it's like Nigerians are between a hard rock and the deep blue sea. So if there is anybody you can help at this time, I implore you to please kindly do that. Kindly do that. That's very important for us to do. Kindly do that. Welcome to the Political Spotlight right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Mwachukwu. It's a full house. I will actually have somebody who will be joining me virtually in the course of the conversation this evening. And there is quite a lot actually to discuss, I must tell you. There's quite a lot. And it's interesting because these were the conversations that generated quite the buzz in the course of the week, I think 2 or 3 days ago. So something significant transpired. I don't want to call, let me use the word significant because in a way it places Nigeria on the map internationally, and a couple of persons will say, okay, this is good because it's one of the good things that we've been asking for. It's one of the kind of proposal we've been proposing, and that is because of the whole BRICS situation. But there was something that sparked that uproar, all right, on social media. And what is it that sparked the uproar? So they were like, why was Nigeria represented? Like, why was it written in Hausa? That's what people were wondering. Like, that was what caused the social media buzz. Exactly, why in Hausa when we have other languages that we can actually work with, right? I mean, it's another thing to possibly say you don't want to use English. Okay, so is there no other language that you could have used that possibly identifies with all Nigerian? Why use a particular language from a particular region, considering the fact that Nigeria is multi-ethnic, all right? And also, in fact, we're a secular state. So what could have made you decide to write that particular, representation on the proposed BRICS currency with Hausa? And the person that actually put it on X was the former digital media, digital media to former President Muhammadu Buhari. And Nigerians actually took a swipe at him on social media because a lot of persons had to react to it. They took to social media to react after the Hausa language was used to inscribe the name of Nigeria on the proposed currency of international bloc BRICS. And this was on Thursday. Nigeria officially joined BRICS as a partner country alongside 12 other nations, further strengthening its economic ties with the bloc. The announcement was made at the ongoing BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia, which was held from October 22 to 24, 2024. Now, Nigeria's inclusion comes after a significant surge in foreign capital inflows from BRICS nations, which rose by 189% in the first half of 2022. Now, Bashir Ahmed, the former special advisor, that's former SA to former President Muhammadu Buhari, tweeted, and this is what he wrote on X: "So glad to see Hausa language proudly representing Nigeria." And this is how he wrote it. So it's not him anyways. That's how it's written on the BRICS currency, proposed BRICS currency, Jamhuriyar Tayar Nigeria, alongside the Nigerian flag, which is prominently positioned within the yet to be officially unveiled BRICS currency. And Nigerians went haywire with that. They came out to kick against the move, while some praised the move, saying Hausa is the #1 language in Nigeria. Others said, why will you do that? Why will they do that? Considering the fact that we're a multi-ethnic nation, on what grounds was this proposal made? Who actually decided that this was the right course to go with? Why was it that it was Hausa that was used to represent Nigeria when possibly they could have used English or, I don't know, a common language that everyone can familiarize themselves with to say, okay, we identify, all right, with this. So it was quite the conversation, and we'll be looking into that in the course of this evening. My analyst is bringing out his evidence to give clarification to that. Another one is concerning a fierce debate that erupted in the Nigerian House of Representatives on Thursday. Lawmakers clashed over a proposed bill to expand the influence of Sharia law in the nation, and this ignited a wave of heated exchanges and firm resistance from some members. The controversial bill seeks to implement aspects of Islamic governance, and it met with vocal opposition, with legislators stressing that Nigeria's secular foundation must be upheld. Now, the debate began when the bill introduced by a northern representative proposed amendments to grant Sharia law broader jurisdiction within states that choose to implement it. This sparked immediate reactions from members concerned about the bill's potential to impose Islamic governance nationwide. Now, some members warned that such a move could endanger Nigeria's unity given its diversity in religious beliefs. One of the opposing lawmakers passionately asserted, "You cannot Islamize Nigeria. Our nation's constitution provides for freedom of religion, and we cannot set a precedent that undermines the country's secular framework." The lawmakers' remarks were met with applause from like-minded representatives who argue that the proposal, if passed, would violate Nigeria's commitment to equal representation for all religions. Now, amid this heated exchanges between members in the House, proponents of the bill argue that it simply aims to provide options for states with predominantly Muslim populations, emphasizing that it would not infringe upon other religious practices. So if that is the case, why not continue that practice like you have within your states? And the question Nigerians were asking is, on whose benefit are you imposing Sharia law? Will the Sharia law be impacted or implemented on the politicians who steal, on those who we see embezzle, those who take advantage of minors, those who abuse, those who commit dastardly acts? Or will this Sharia law only applied to the average or poor northerner. That was what caused the uproar, because if you look at how it is practiced and those that actually go through the punishment of Sharia law, it's very rare to see any of the political elite go through that experience of Sharia law. Meanwhile, when it comes to those hugely perpetrating the crime, it's from that higher echelon. So if you want to impose Sharia law and you want to put it in the constitution, every other person was like, before you know, they begin to infuse it into every other aspect, into every other tenet. And that's how it starts. Before you know, it could cause anything. So that was why the House actually went through that motion. Well, subsequently, it didn't go through for the second reading, but we don't know. They could bring it back up again. So this was one of the conversations that sparked the polity at the time. And I must tell you, it's quite an interesting notion to consider because, like I said, Nigeria has always been going through this conversation from time immemorial since this country was formed through its various regions. A couple of persons may tell you that some things do not apply, but in reality, they do if you are in that part of the world. Trust me, in reality, they do. Now, another thing to also consider is the fact that Serap is dragging the INEC chairman, Mahmood to court for what you call contempt of court orders. All right, they're failing to go after electoral offenders. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project filed a contempt lawsuit against Professor Mahmood Yakubu, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, all right, over his failure to investigate alleged electoral offenses from the 2023 general elections. These allegations include bribery, vote buying, and other electoral misconduct reportedly involving state governors and their deputy. Now, Justice Obiora Atuegu Egwatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja had on July 18, 2024, ordered INEC to pursue these cases of alleged electoral malpractices. He mandated that independent counsel be appointed to investigate and prosecute those suspected of such offenses. I recall when INEC had to eventually brief the press as to the fact that this is the conclusion of the 2023 general elections. You recall that Nigerians were asking INEC that there were a lot of questions you need to respond to. So INEC organized a press conference to actually reiterate some factors that they had said immediately they announced the 2023 elections. INEC had disclosed that the 2023 elections they had called out, rather the result they called out was authentic, and they disputed all the supposed allegations. They called it fallacies, that everything they went through was objective. Now, INEC later told us that they had begun prosecution of some of their members that were involved in electoral malpractices. I recall in the studio, I talked about it that day. They had told us that already prosecution has started and that we're going to hear more about it. We're going to get an update. Unfortunately, up till now, we haven't gotten any update on it. We haven't heard about how far, what the process is, what the procedure is for commencing the investigation or the prosecution of the electoral offenders, particularly INEC officials during the 2023 elections. You recall that some states recorded anomalies and electoral malpractices that occurred in some wards. We saw pictures and videos of some of these INEC officials having to inflate access to healthcare, one or two orders from the court, but they don't obey them, that they'll be liable to contempt. And it's almost like they're not afraid, and actually nothing happens. Despite the contempt threats, nothing happens at the end of the day. So the questions a lot of Nigerians are asking is it that when the court gives an order, it doesn't apply to certain persons? Thank God I have a legal practitioner here who is going to use the law to help me give buttress or give in-depth insight into how this works, what the mechanism of law is concerning this particular scenario. Now, Professor Yakubu and INEC is yet to take action, which prompted the court to issue a warning of potential imprisonment for contempt. The notice to Professor Yakubu reminded him of his obligation to comply with the court's ruling or face legal consequences. Serap urged INEC to address recurring electoral misconduct, which it argues hampers credible elections and undermines Nigeria's democracy. You recall too that during the off-season elections, that was after the 2023 elections, the off-season elections for some states, which includes Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo, right? These states recorded a high number of electoral malpractices, electoral malfeasance, which were broadly and boldly recorded. In fact, videoed and filmed. Security operatives who were meant to secure the ballot the ballot boxes of the wards where they were meant to provide security were caught in the act of inflating results. We also saw videos of some INEC officials still being involved in some areas. They were induced not to cast their vote as freely as they could. So all of this is on record, and the question is, what is Mahmood doing about it? Because they have Anambra elections coming up very soon. Are we going to see the same thing happen, or Osun elections as well? So these are the questions that are in the minds of a lot of Nigerians, which calls for a broader conversation as to how long this particular attitude of some of our sensitive institutions in this country have continued to go on with, and then nobody has called them to order, nobody has called them on recourse. This is one of the conversations that we're also going to be looking into. Now, another interesting fact again is a situation where the DSS had to explain as to the reason why they blocked Nnamdi Kanu's legal team from having access to him. And it's quite unfortunate, because one would have tried to understand that despite the court telling the DSS DG to grant Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer access to him so that they can begin preparation for his next court appearance, the DSS declined to give him that access. Well, they have eventually explained. The details emerged on why the Department of State Services continues to deny lawyers access to Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, who faces terrorism charges at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Well, we know that Nnamdi Kanu has been detained since June 2021. Well, the legal team representing Mr. Kanu has repeatedly alleged that the DSS is obstructing their access to him. Now, on October 17, the court issued a warning to the DSS Director General, Adeola Ajayi, threatening jail time if he continues to deny our lawyers access to Mr. Kanu. In a subsequent hearing, the court summoned the DSS DG to appear and justify this ongoing denial, which reportedly stems from orders by the SSS leadership. All right. Now, Justice Binta Nyako had previously mandated on May 20 that the IPOB leader be allowed visitors 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This order specified that Nnamdi Kanu must be provided a secure and clean room to meet up to 5 council members and prepare his defense. A court document which was obtained detailed the requirements for the legal team's access to him, allowing them adequate space and the ability to take notes as needed. Well, an unnamed DSS official argued that the court order only grants access to Kanu for trial preparation, which they claim is on hold. Now, according to a particular source familiar with the case, Nnamdi Kanu's demand for Justice Nyako's recusal had temporarily disrupted proceedings. Although Justice Nyako has since resumed handling the case, no date has been set to restart the trial, leading the DSS to assert that access is only warranted once the trial is officially back underway. Well, Ejimako, that is Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, is calling the DSS stance childish, saying that it's so childish in the sense that an order of the court does not ordinarily elapse unless it is set aside by another order court. He contended that the DSS lacked the authority to limit visitation when a court order is in place, adding, if they are saying we cannot see him until the trial has started, is it when the trial resumes that we then start preparing our client, Nnamdi Kanu, for trial? That's it. There's even a whole video in reaction to the DSS explanation, which Aloy Ejimako discountenanced and said holds no water. There's quite a lot that we can actually discuss on the political spotlight, but let me introduce my analysts this evening. They will definitely be helping to give us their own insight into these issues. First of all, I actually have right here with me in the studio interesting personals. One of them joined me last week, and of course I have another person joining me. He was with us on Democracy Day or October 1? October 1. Okay, good. Let me put on your mic 5 and 6. All right, good. So I'm going to introduce them to you, and of course definitely the conversation will commence from there. The first person right here with me is Mr. Ola Emmanuel. He's a political, national and social affairs commentator. Mr. Ola Emmanuel, come closer to the mic. Thank you for joining me this evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then also I actually have right here in the studio Damilare Bamidele, who is a legal practitioner. All right. And of course, he's always joining me. He's been joining me for a while now on the political spotlight. Damilare Bamidele, good evening, and thank you for joining me on the political spotlight. Please, can you come closer to the mic so we can hear you properly? Yes, come closer, please. All right, good. Yes, I can hear you now. So, thank you for joining me once again on the Political Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Please, sir, come closer because it's important for us to hear you very, very well.
It's all right.
Okay, so let's start off with this particular conversation that sparked the polity concerning the Hausa language being put on the proposed BRICS currency. And Nigerians went, haywire about that. The former special advisor to the former president actually tweeted and said this is a very good thing. Now they were opposing and proposing views on that particular scenario. Can you indulge me a little on what you think about it?
All right, thank you very much and good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First and foremost, I want to know if that man represents the Hausa nation to that BRICS meeting. That's number one. Number two,
okay.
If he represents Nigeria, the formal language to be used in communication in Nigeria is English. So that calls for if he represents the Hausa in that meeting or he represents Nigeria in that meeting. If the answer is he represents Nigeria, why Hausa? So if the Nigerian populace are actually reacting that this is an attempt to Islamize Nigeria, it then means they are correct. Because you cannot use a language that don't represent the over 300 national tribes in Nigeria to communicate our very vital issues that borders on the economy, policy, everything about the nation. So it is completely anathema. But if he do that, the question is that who sent him? And when he was sent, what are actually the terms and conditions for his representation in that BRICS meeting?
Okay.
If those things are not well defined, it will interest you to know a number of persons might be arguing out of point until we get to know who sent him. But if it is true that he was sent to represent the interests of Nigeria, then that guy has committed a crime. It means there is an underneath explanation that he needs to give to us his reasons for communicating. But if that is not the place, it means that maybe that pattern or that aspect of him using Hausa language to communicate perhaps could be the reason that he just wants to do it to be able to communicate with the Hausa brethren and not for Nigerians to take it into actions.
Okay.
That's just what I wanted to tell in a nutshell about that.
Okay. Mr. Bamidele, what do you think?
Well, for me, Nigeria is a multi-ethnic country.
All right.
We don't even know the numbers of languages we speak.
Okay.
In this country. Some say 250, some say...
They're over 300.
Over
300.
I understand that the Hausa language is, I think the number one language is the most widely spoken language in Africa. I'm sorry, in Nigeria, I mean. In Nigeria, it's the most widely spoken.
What's your statistics to that?
Yeah. From the northwest, the northeast, north central, all speak Hausa.
No, not
Yes.
all the North Central.
Now, they all have their own language. Look, Hausa today is like lingua franca. It's like pidgin English to a Yoruba man. The way a Yoruba man speaks Yoruba and can also speak. I would just want us to get what I'm trying to.
Please,
what
I'm
trying to
listening.
say.
Yes.
I discovered all these things not because somebody told me, but what I saw, what I experienced firsthand. Okay. However, we are in a democratic state, and we are not a one-tribe state. We are a state of different people, different culture, and we say democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. But using a particular language to represent Nigeria in BRICS, that is a grave mistake. And I think it points towards segregation, which is what most Nigerians have interpreted that to be. And I think it should be remedied. Just use English. You cannot use a language to represent the whole nation. You cannot use one indigenous language.
That's a wrong thing to do.
That is a wrong move.
It's a wrong thing to
It's
do.
wrong. Because you are making people feel as if they are second fiddle. You are making people feel inferior. What would the Ijo man think? What would the Ishekiri man think? What would the Yoruba man think?
What would the Idoma man think?
Exactly.
Are you getting what I'm saying? That's the reason why I had to ask this question. Who sent this man to that meeting?
And
Are you getting what I'm saying
the
now?
funny thing-
Because if he's not there for the purpose or for the interest of Nigeria, then we don't have a business with that. But if he's there in that meeting for the interest of Nigeria, then he needs to be penalized. There is an intention for him or to segregate Nigeria from having to understand exactly what he wants to translate to every other person. It's a wrong thing to do.
Well, I also want to point this out that BRICS is the next superpower of the world. For anyone who is not following the development around BRICS, I advise everyone to catch up with it.
Can you
is-
fix the
mic.
yes,
mic,
please,
sorry,
so
yes.
you don't
BRICS is
fade out.
changing the trajectory of the economy, of world economy, of world trade. And for you to go there and represent your own country with identifying with a particular tribe, I think it some will interpret it as being mischievous. So I believe you see, there have been drums of secessions, drums of referendum. We want to leave, we want to go, and these are the things that fuel those kind of talks. We want to create an egalitarian society. These are the aspects, these are the kind of things that will show to the average Nigerian that Nigeria is for everybody. And I think this should be remedied. It should be changed to the English language.
The question
as soon as
is,
possible.
why was that used? That's the big question.
It's the big
because
question.
it's I don't know how to explain it. Some persons from that particular region will say, yes, that is what it is, and there is nothing you can do about it. There've been a lot of response in that regard. Is there no other possible language, or just maybe type Nigeria with English, since our colonial masters are the British? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
And that's a common, Language that
It
at
is
least
the
all Nigeria, or you could
acceptable
use
language.
pidgin if you want
Yes,
to,
at
but
most.
not a particular. I'm asking.
I would have loved it if it were pidgin English.
Okay, so that's
I would
I
have
think
loved
that's
it.
basically what the situation is. We're in a frayed situation. How did that happen? Did they do that on their own? Did the government write to them to use Hausa, or did they just decide? Because sometimes, like if you look at our currency, for example, could it be what they used that informed them to write it with that language? That's basically most of the questions that are being asked
This is
concerning that.
This is an act of the Nigerian government.
It's an act of the Nigerian government.
The Nigerian government sent a representative to act on its behalf. So whatever the representative,
No, you don't get it. There's no representative. This is how do I explain it to you? So it's what you would call like the BRICS. You know BRICS, right?
I know.
Nigeria has officially become a partner alongside 12 other nations, isn't it? The idea is to strengthen economic ties with this bloc. Now, this announcement, when it was made at the ongoing BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia, it held for 3 days, between the 22nd to the 24th. Now, Nigeria's inclusion is coming after significant surge in foreign capital inflows from these member nations.
Right?
We do a lot of financial transactions with them. So it makes sense that, okay, we could decide to be part of this nation, all right? And these financial inflows, based on the statistics read out here, it rose by 189% in the first half of 2024, which reached about $1.27 billion. Compared to $438.72 million during the same period last year. So Nigeria's name was also written on the yet to be unveiled foreign reserve BRICS currency. It's not yet it's yet to be unveiled. So we saw what you would call like what would you call that, like a sample of how it is.
Temporary.
It's just a sample before it's unveiled. Like they've been able to do something to let us know that this is how it looks. Now, the member countries of BRICS were written on that currency. Nigeria was written in Hausa.
You see, Esther, I want to say this. The problem we're having when it comes to issues of the Nigerian as a state is that there are a lot of things that are happening under the scene that you and I, as a regular Nigerian, did not know. If you check through the Nigerian currency from 5 naira to 1,000 naira, only 5, 10, 20, 50 and 100, have an inscription. Is it either Islamic or whatever? But every of the other higher currency, 1,500, 200, now, have an inscription that is not written with English. The question is why? I've asked a question. There is a force in Nigeria that has their logo inscribed boldly with a language you cannot read or translate with English language. The problem is, or the question is that, who does that? Why is it allowed? Why can't it be changed? Even if there were things that were done to compensate the Northerners because of quote unquote of their reasons for supporting the oppression of the Den. Why has it not been changed? How come we're still using the same currency with an inscription that nobody can question? We have the legislation from the 5th Assembly, 7th, 8th, now 10th, we're in 11 or thereabout. How come there has never been a legislation to alter that? That explains to you that a part of Nigeria is in control of what happened. And that is why somebody who said that what you're doing is wrong will be penalized, and somebody who said I did it is never penalized. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So we can't continue like that. I have said it publicly and I don't owe anybody apology. Now, until Nigeria begin to become a civilized nation, our development will remain a mirage. Are you getting what I'm saying? The reason being that we don't do anything in a civil manner. We don't consider people's feelings, intentions. Our policy does not bother us on how people feel after they are made or promulgated. And that's the reason why somebody can go and represent a nation, Nigeria. From the little research I've tried to bring out, I've been made to understand that Nigeria is one of the most richest countries in Africa, yet the poorest. These things are happening. Is it that things cannot change? Things can change. But there are people who want this thing to remain like that. I'm telling you for free that no question further is going to be asked to this man. Why did you choose to use Hausa? We are not trying to be sentimental here.
No, there is no sentimental thing.
Are you getting what I'm saying now?
Please face the mic. The mic. Speak on the mic.
We are not being sentimental here. But the point is that that's why in my opening intro I said we need to find out if that man was actually sent to represent Nigeria or he was sent.
No, there was no sending. It's just the fact that he saw the what do you call it? The template on the the template before it becomes officially unveiled. And then he shared it on X to say, wow, this is beautiful. Look at the language that, represents Nigeria on the proposed unveiled BRICS currency. Exactly. That's what it is. So it sparked the reaction on social media. A multi-ethnic group, a multi-ethnic country, a multi-ethnic and religious country. Why choose a particular region's official language? Even in Hausa, you have the Hausa Fulani, you have Fulfude. So how come you chose Hausa to represent? We have more than 700 languages in this country.
That many.
We don't even know how many.
It's more than 700 languages in this country. So why would you use a particular language to represent the entirety of a nation? And the question that a lot of Nigerians now asked was, who made that proposal? Who said, okay, BRICS, this is how you write? Or is it that they saw, what was their statistics? What did they use to come to that particular conclusion to represent Nigeria with that language? Did they use our currency? Did they use our passport? What was the thing that formed that opinion?
Yes, what is the criterion
exactly.
used?
Did they reach out to the Nigerian government to say, this is how we want to represent Nigeria on the BRICS currency? Are you comfortable with it? And if that was the case, before they unveiled it and the Nigerian government said yes, then what does that mean?
Esther, if I may just say, I have the strong belief that the Nigerian government sanctioned that.
Okay.
Because they would not represent your country in a language which the government of your country does not approve of. We should know that these people are not despots. There are consultations going on. And this came out after 3 days, a 3-day meeting. So it's not as if it was conjured somewhere. This was a decision that was taken by people in power.
Okay.
And I believe one of the issues we have in this country is that the people in power do not believe the populace any explanation as to any decision they make. They believe we are in power, we've made a decision, you live with it. Because if the people in power, if they know that they owe their position to the populace, they will not make drastic decisions like this that the populace will frown against.
Okay.
At least they say they are ruling on our behalf. They say they are ruling in our best interest. So I think the presidency should come out and address these issues, because it is issues like this that put the fragment of a country. It's issues like these that begin to sow the seed of disunity amongst different ethnic groups in a country like ours.
What if the presidency doesn't come out to say anything? Because the way it is right now, all these issues, right, when they begin to circulate on social media, when it generates conversation, sometimes it's like they use it to weigh and see how people act on it. And then if at the end of the day the buzz dies down, they just go ahead, they don't further it, they don't pursue it, they don't do anything about it.
It will interest you to know, Esther, that when we talk about Nigeria, from the presidency down to the local government chairman, the average Nigerian is not part of Nigeria. I was making an analysis of things, of events making round sometimes, and I said, the budget of the Nigerian government does not cover the 200 million people. The budget of Nigeria and what they intend to do with the money covers only those workers in the presidency, the state, the local government. So once that money is paid, once that salary is paid, the rest millions of Nigeria can go to wages. So, and these are the reason why when they are making decisions, policies, they don't consider the common man. And most of the time I said I'm not a regular Nigerian. The reason being that the way they do things, if you choose not to do things the Nigerian way, you are the odd man in the midst of the people. So the reason why you will not hear anything outside this social media buzz is because they say they will talk. Let's just raise this topic. For when they are tired talking.
That's why. That's what I'm asking. I said when he said the presidency needs to react to it. You know, that's what Damilare. And I'm saying react in what sense?
They want to
the
react.
buzz was on social media.
Yes.
That was it, right? So maybe if the tempo comes down, the conversation doesn't continue. And then when the BRICS decides to officially unveil the currency, that's what it is.
You know, sometimes I feel like Nigeria is a social experiment. Sometimes I just get the feeling, because in the same country.
Please, your mic is important.
Sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry about that. In the same country, this issue will have been addressed within 24 hours, and everybody would know where this.
And that is in a civilized settings. That Nigeria is not.
Exactly.
So you're saying we are not civilized?
We are not.
So what are we? Are you saying that we're primates or what?
We are not.
Or we are still in the barbaric ages?
If you say barbaric, it can even be a Polish language.
What?
We are still greenhorns who are not thinking well.
No, you cannot generalize. Please, I need you. No. I need you to not generalize.
Wait.
I need you to conceptualize this Nigerians you're referring to.
Wait. Before we got on
Hello,
I was speaking with him, and I told him, I said, we do not understand politics in Nigeria.
Please stay on the mic. You don't have to look at him to talk. Just talk on the mic. Yes.
I was saying, we do not even understand politics in Nigeria. You see, the way we do things here is good. It's good. When you are running a country, when you are running a nation, it is not about you. It is not about what you want.
Okay.
It is not about your interest. You are dealing with people, generations to come. Their future is on the line. You don't just make decisions at your whim. No. There must be consultation. You must be able to carry out your feasibility studies. Okay, what do my people need? What are the needs that need to be met now? How can we meet these needs? Okay, if there's going to be a downfall, what it will be the collateral damage? We live in a country where the people in power just wake up one morning and do what they want and don't even give a damn as to how the people feel. Because if not for this man that even shared the template, we would not even know anything is going on. And even in the same, we should be thanking him for even sharing this template with us. Because if he didn't share the templates, there will be no discussion. He will just wake up one morning and say, boom, Nigeria on the big currency is in Hausa. So, here is my own conclusion. this whole thing, it's not going well. I don't want to call it a failed project the way we are handling it. We should handle our country with reference. We should handle our politics, our administration, our government with diligence. We should be meticulous in how we do things. We all love Nigeria. We all want our country to be number one in the world.
Okay.
I just hope the people in House Rock, the people in our various government houses in the states, they also want the same for all of us.
It's-
All right,
Yes.
Pastor. I want as a pastor,
Yes. You're correct. Go ahead.
Mr. Ola. You mentioned something. You said Nigerians are not civilized, and I was like, do not generalize.
Okay.
So, in what aspect of non-civilization are you referring to?
No.
Is it the leaders? Is it the elite? Is it the average? Is it the? I need you to categorize.
When I use that word civilized, the civility of a nation can be measured by their policies, by their laws. And anytime you're doing things without the consideration of the masses, not considering the implications, the consequences of those things, then you are not civilized.
Okay.
When you don't put other people on the fore to think of what these your actions mean to them, whether it is going to favor them or not, then you are not civilized. I put in a nutshell that civilization is all about consideration. Considering your actions, what I'm about to say, what is the implication of it? What happens after I said, will somebody be hurt? Will somebody be tumbling up and say, yes, I said my mind? So when I say Nigeria is not civilized, is that the people who are on the higher platform making decision on behalf of the masses does not do it in a civilized manner.
Okay.
For instance, we're talking about one single person. Even if that information is a privileged information that has passed, and that information definitely is going to go viral or go into the national archive and say, now, at so day, at so point in time, why use, does it mean that person cannot speak English language? So his using Hausa is an indication that, look, I don't care, whatever message I'm going to pass, it's not for the benefit of the others, it's just for this kind of person. So those who I refer to as not civilized are not the elite in generality, but those people who are in the hem of affair and never considered how you feel, what you feel when things like that have been done. Check out from, we were talking about, before you walked in, we were talking about certain systems in the education aspect. That a lecturer walks in and has a 3-credit unit to lecture for 2 hours, teaches or lectures for 40 minutes and say, I don't tire.
Sorry. Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying now?
Just take it up a bit, yeah. Good.
And said, I don't tire. And walks out to the office. Never give the student any other thing. And you dare not challenge that person that what you are doing is wrong. Because eventually you're going to have a carryover. Does that sound civilized? In a normal setting, that atmosphere, that environment is supposed to be for the civilized. Because the education of any nation is actually the production set if any nations will grow. But if you experience that in some schools, then how will the student come out to become a firebrand made in Nigeria? So that's the reason why we talk about this civility.
All right.
A whole lot of things will keep, if I want to make mention, I'll make mention. It goes round to every sphere of the Nigerian society.
All right, let's quickly go to this. The Federal High Court in Abuja has warned Professor Mahmood Yakubu, chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, that he will be guilty of contempt of court and liable to be committed to prison if he fails to obey its judgment orders. The threat stems from a contempt lawsuit which was filed before the court by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project for failing to investigate the allegations of electoral offences which were committed during the 2023 general elections. The group also accused the INEC boss of failing to identify suspected perpetrators and their sponsors and ensure their effective prosecution. So, again, Justice Egwatu ordered INEC to seek the appointment of independent counsels to investigate allegations of electoral offences, including bribery, vote buying, conspiracy, and undue influence against state governors and their deputies during the 2023 general elections. I am actually surprised that up till now, the names of these persons have not been revealed. Because the last time that Mahmood Yakub came to address the press concerning everything that had to do with the generality of the 2023 elections, he told us that they had begun prosecution of the electoral offenders, which includes the security operatives and those who were working for INEC. He did not tell us their names. He did not tell us who they were. And we thought that that had already commenced. So what happened? It's more than a year now.
Right.
It has to take Sarah to go to court. The court has told INEC to commence it, and everywhere is quiet. Why? So what happens?
Esther, if you remembered, on the 1st of October, I was here.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? I said, is INEC truly independent? It was a question. INEC is not independent. So the boss of INEC, Prof. Mahmood, does not do anything of his own until he's commanded.
So you're telling me that the INEC boss knows these suspected perpetrators and their sponsors, but has refused to ensure their effective prosecution, despite coming out to tell us that they had already begun prosecution on those electoral offenders.
Did you know what they call Bobo? Permit me to use that inscription. When a man or when a woman is going to the market or going to maybe going for another thing, and a child begin to cry, what does the mother do? Hey, come on, baby, stop. When I'm coming, I'll buy you Bobo. He pats the child at the back and he said, Mommy, will you buy it? He said, yes, okay, Mommy, buy. By the time the mother comes back from the market, this boy had gone sleeping. Did she buy the market? Did she buy what she promised? So I can tell you for free that whatever you see that happens in the INEC settings is something that they know it. And that's why some people can tell you, let them do their own. We know what to do. I think sometimes mid this year or early or the first quarter, there were this news making round that the result for 2027 was found somewhere. I don't know if you found something like that. That was found somewhere, not in Nigeria, in somebody's house in the UK. And have you heard anything after that time? You will not hear it again because they clamp on and say, let that news die. They will remove it and ensure that it doesn't go again.
But the court has given an order. That doesn't justify anything. What is delaying? What is delaying that process? Are you okay?
Who is the court? Who rules the court? Who determine what happened in the judiciary? I can tell you, while I was a little boy, the hope of the common man or the regular man is the judiciary. Either you are poor, educated, short, tall, whatever races, tribe you come from, when issues happen between you and somebody, it got to a point, say, now let's run to the court, and the moment you get to the court, you get justice. Did justice actually happen in Nigeria? The answer is no. So whatever happens in INEC, whatever happens in whatever, judiciary has been cloned. Judiciary has been bought. Judiciary has been taken over by those who dictate what can happen.
But the court is the one telling them now that they could arrest him because he has refused to provide details of those who were involved in the electoral malpractices, and that if he refuses to do so, he's liable to go to jail.
I watched the video on Friday, of a young man who was part of the army sent to Sambisa, and something happened.
Okay.
He was used something to cover his identity anyway. And they asked him, they said, will Nigeria be any better? He said, Oga, nothing good is coming. Do you know why? The Boko Harams are coming after blah, blah, blah. And you know too well you have an upper hand over the Boko Haram. And they will withdraw this and say, retreat. Are you getting what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So if the judge, if the court gives an order and said that it's to bobo us Nigeria, is to tell us, let's use that to tell them that we are working. Nigeria is not working because the system has been designed. Remember I told you, the Nigerian system has been designed, wired to fail. Because civility is not considered. I can tell you here, Esther, do you know why? One of the things that is making these things happen, we have removed objectivities from our things in Nigeria. So we use subjective ways of doing things, not objectively. And they know there is no nation that can grow when subjectivity becomes the order of the approach. And that's why he who does not qualify can be made to qualify to do certain things. So even when they said, let the forces say, no, this is this, we're not going to allow this. Oh boy, na bobo.
Mr. Bamidele, what do you think?
Okay. Now, I will start from where it started, because that's actually my own line of thinking.
Okay.
Is INEC truly independent? That's the first question we should ask. INEC is not independent, and so much so that an arm of the government has an hand in who becomes the head of INEC.
Okay.
If I appoint you as the head of a commission, you should know that I'll have influence over you. And whatever it is you do there, you must act according to my every command, or else I dismiss you. And I think it's one of the issues we are having. We during the elections, we all know what went down. There are videos littered on the internet as to all the infractions that took place. And in our electoral act, there's a part of the act specially designed for electoral offenders. The punishment, everything is there. However, I'm concerned as to INEC's reluctance just to do their own part in all of this. Because you don't tell me that you are the commission in charge of election, but then you don't care about the people that...
Bamidele, let me draw your mind back. During the N-Band governance protest, after the N-Band governance protest, we saw the DSS actually go all out to fish out those who were at the front burner, or those who basically supposedly organized that protest. We saw them actually apprehend some persons in the crowd, some of them actually in police custody, awaiting trial, or some of them have not been able to meet up with their bail conditions. Why can't we see this kind of active response from INEC towards this? Is taking a court to give that order that Mahmood Yakub is liable to go to jail because he has not obeyed a court order that had asked him to commence the prosecution of electoral offenders?
It's because the powers that be do not want him to.
This is a court order.
Now, the court is saying...
Okay, well, the court, if he doesn't, if a contempt of court order is given, how many days does it take, or a month does it take, whereby if you don't obey that court order, then the court goes ahead to do what it wants to do?
Now, this last time, the court has given him another chance.
No, how long? I need you to specify. How long does it take?
It depends on the judgment. It depends on the nature of each case.
This is the nature of the judgment. Immediately begin prosecution of these individuals who committed electoral malpractices in the 2023 elections, because there are evidences to prove. Serap actually had it. The court has actually told INEC to commence it. INEC did a press conference and detailed to us that they have already commenced it, but we haven't seen the process. We haven't seen the faces of these electoral offenders. Nothing has commenced. And the court is saying you're liable to go to jail if you refuse this time around. We're giving you a last line. So how long does it, and if Mahmood doesn't commence, will he actually be taken to jail?
Can I say something? They say lifeline is not a duration of time. I haven't been able to get the full read of the judgment, but I'm sure here's how it works. I'm sure in the judgment there will be a time stipulation there. The time the court is given the INEC chairman is what is important. Is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? We have to know.
Let me read it out to you.
Yes, please.
All right. The Federal High Court, Abuja, in the notice of consequences of disobedience to order of court, warned Professor Yakubu that he will be guilty of contempt of court and liable to be committed to prison if he fails to obey the judgment orders. The notice addressed to Professor Yakubu, this is it: take notice that unless you obey these orders contained in the judgment of the 18th July 20, this is since July, made by Justice Egwatu of the Federal High Court, with the number of that particular case attached, a copy of which is hitherto attached, you'll be guilty of contempt of court and be liable to prison. Meanwhile, on the 27th of October, signed by Serap, Kolawole Oluwadare, that is the deputy director, they are saying that it's unacceptable to take the court, which is a guardian of justice in this country, for a ride. This is since July that court order was given.
Yes,
and no move, no activity, nothing, no commencement of proceeding.
Yes,
not even one name that we have seen.
Now, here's what Serap should do. this would even cause a lot of problem. The court has given you a judgment, right? Enforce it. Just go back to the court and tell the court, you said Mr. Yakub is liable to be committed to prison if he does not initiate investigation and prosecution. He hasn't done that, so put him in prison and let's see what will happen.
But that is why that is why this reinstatement came back again.
Yeah.
That if he doesn't obey that July order,
this is what I'm saying.
He did not.
that's what I'm saying. He did not obey. He has, yes,
he has disobeyed. Now, Serap should go back to the court and inform the court, then ask the court to punish Mr. Yakub. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
That is how the judicial system works. If the court gives me a judgment against you,
Yeah.
the fact that I have the judgment does not mean that I still have to go back to the court to help me enforce the judgment. So Serap should go for enforcement.
but you know that there is an order of mandamus which is made directing and compelling INEC to seek the appointment of an independent counsel to investigate these allegations of electoral offences. Why has that independent counsel not already been established?
And that's because some persons who are in control of things will not want it to happen.
That's what we're saying.
I can tell you, there is this man. What's that his name? Somebody Douglas. Frederick Douglas. He said, and I quote, "A slave does not have a right to information about his freedom." So what these our leaders does is to ensure that they withhold the right informations and the right to express yourself as a Nigerian national to do what is right. Why? They control the state's security arm. They control the judiciary because they are the executive. And if you look at it, that one of the reasons that is making Nigeria things not working, like I've said and I'll repeat it a million times, is that anytime there is a harmony between the legislator and the executive, don't expect that nation to be a developed nation.
All right, Mr. Ola Emmanuel,
Yes.
you talked about, we talked about the Islamization concept, which was discussed in the House, although that particular stuff did not go for a second reading. Let me play you a particular reaction to somebody who used to work in the security agency, and he's now a global security personnel. His name is Kunle Olawumi. Let's quickly take a listen to him.
It's not about ransom. They just want to pass a message. We can come in. We can do what we need to do. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country. They think about Taliban. They think about the Mujahideens. And they want to replicate it in this country. And they don't care what happened. They simply don't care. As long as at the end of the day, there's Sharia, and there is whatever thing they have in their head, and they want to achieve. So these people that are sending messages are sponsored by Nigerians. You remember this Boko Haram issue started since 2012.
Yeah.
And I was in the military intelligence that time. We arrested those people. It is my organization that actually conducts interrogation and interview. And they mention names. I mean, I can't come on the air and start mentioning names of people that are presently in government now that I know. Presently in government. That the boys that we arrested mentioned. Some of them are governors now. Some of them are in the Senate. Some of them are in Aso Rock. The intention is to Islamize Nigeria and practice Sharia. And it doesn't matter if some people die. It doesn't matter if you're embarrassed. It doesn't matter if our economy has degenerated. Look at the interest rate. Look at the inflation rate. Look at the debt profile of Nigeria. They don't care. As long as at the end, the Quran is at the sea. So some people in this country have this mindset. And we must tell the truth. If you tell the truth, you die. If you don't tell it, you die. Some people have this mindset to Islamize the nation. And they are in the government. And people know them. The DSS know them. The NIA know them. The DIA knows them. Can't succeed without an inside person. And this attack you saw has insiders collaboration. It's not.
Mr. Ola Emmanuel.
You see, when I was making my statement, I don't even know that there's going to be this kind of thing that's going to be played up. Nigeria is in the hands of few individuals who has priced it, negotiated the deal, and the consignment is already been delivered into the hands of these few minorities. It will remain like there is no civilized nation that will accept this. As much as I stand to be corrected, there is no nation that is not corrupt. But when corruption in your case become the order of the day, they will single you out. And that is why we are first at the peak of a nation that is corrupt. Hear what the man said. There are few persons who had that in mind. Hello, you give birth to a child. This child started walking and began to bend. You said, leave that child alone. When he grow, he will correct it. This child begin to do some things and begin to call your mother, yeah. You say, leave that child alone. He's a little child when he grows. So when that child begin to do the other thing when he or she is grown, don't blame anybody. And that's the reason why I don't like this phrase.
Okay.
God go help us.
You don't like the phrase?
God go help us. The reason, because God has helped us in Nigeria enough, and we have abused the help of God. So it is only time for us to start accepting responsibility if we must see a better Nigeria. When this Sharia thing was coming, we have the penal code, we have the criminal code. Which of them are we practicing? In the same nation, we have certain group of people practicing the penal code. In another place, the same nation applying what? The criminal code in the same nation. And you cannot say anything. So when somebody is coming out to say that Nigeria, there is a verge or there is a move to Islamize Nigeria, what is shaitan? They don't do and finish.
No, I don't want to believe that. I mean, Mr. Bamidele, is it possible for that to happen? Can it take place? Not in a secular nation like this.
Are we secular?
Yeah. He's too much.
Mr. Ola.
He's just too much.
Why have you said that we're secular?
Yeah, well,
Objectivity has never been part of what we do. Can you deny that? Can you argue that with me? A secular nation, these are all acronyms given to us by the Britain. Are we actually secular? Have you not heard about neocolonialism? We've been made to understand in this nation that it's FOI bill. Do you have it?
Freedom of Information Bill. Yeah.
This is a media house. There are things you will go now before you go downstairs.
What are you saying? Speak English. So
Please don't mind me. Don't mind me.
well,
What I mean by that is that as a media house, there are certain things that will be said, and at the end of the day, your manager will say, remove that man. Even the way I'm talking now, you will be surprised. They say, don't bring that man, come to that place again. Do you know why? They don't want to hear the truth. They run away from the truth. They shy away from their responsibility because groups of persons want certain things to be done their own way, which is crude. And that's why I use the word greenhorn. So we're not secular indeed. They only have it written on papers. It is not practice.
All right, it's time for us to take phone calls at this moment, and I'll implore you.
Just say something.
Okay.
Well, for me, I think our greatest issue in this country is that we are loyal to our tribal identity than the national identity.
Okay.
You see, these people coming up with the theory of Islamization of Nigeria, this and that, you will be surprised that there are average Nigerians that support this. Like you said, objectivity and subjectivity. We are not the people that is tilted towards objectivity. Greed and selfishness have eaten the death of us in this country. And it is the poor man that is actually aiding the rich man to oppress in Nigeria.
Because they have been wired to accept that.
You see, for there to be a change, whether or not they've been wired, brainwashed, or anything, there have to be a psychological revolution.
Who will
first.
bring about that?
That is what we are doing here.
No, see, yes, I accept that.
This is that a little drop of water, a little seed,
Esther,
a little good seed.
I worked in an organization some time ago. I was fighting for the freedom of these casual laborers who have worked for more than 9 years without being confirmed as slaves. And it got to a point and I said, no, this can't continue. What led to that? My action. You are working, you are supposed to be taking wages. They didn't give you the wages.
Yeah.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they didn't give you. You are supposed to buy ticket for you to be able to have access to meals. They didn't do it. And one day I got angry. I finished night and I went straight to the admin. I said, Oga, are they hungry? Getting to there and they say, yes, if you're hungry, what about it? I said, my wages has not been paid. The production manager called for a meeting and said, okay, let's see how we can talk to these people. Over 200 casual laborers turned to face and support what the management is. And I said, no, sir. According to the labor law, a casual laborer have an access to wages. And when is wages paid? The moment you are through with your service, you take it. Now, 1 month is gone. 8 weeks is gone. 12 weeks is gone. You have not paid. And you want me to come to work. And the management cajoled these other persons and said, okay, now, just accept that we'll be paying you at the end of the month, every month. And all of them says, yes, so that we go fee use the money for do something. And I said, no, sir. Hear me very well. Okay. I said, no, sir. As I refused that condition, they said, why are you saying this? Can't you see over 150 persons plus said they accept the management term? Don't you think you are a fool? I said, I'm the only wise person here. Why? I told them that if the management considered what is right and they cannot meet with the demand, is it now that I, as a casual, will give you a condition to which you are going to pay my wages? What if you can't meet up? You will tell me that this is what you want us to do for you. So I won't have a right to express myself again. I was sacked. For start to fight for the truth.
Well, in this country, for you to stand up for the truth, don't expect anyone to applaud you.
I don't need it.
No, they don't expect anyone to applaud you or reward you. When you stand for the truth, when you are saying it, you just know inside of you that what you are doing for the sake of propagating the truth. Because we live in a country where the moment you are speaking the truth, you are already an enemy of the people.
Yes.
Even before independence in this country, everybody that has been on the side of truth has always been on the bad side of history.
And it's the wrong thing. That's why we are where we are. That's the mess we are in.
And this is why I believe that it is time we begin to move away from the trend. It is not about popularity. It is not about gaining power. It is all about truth. It is all about truth. So when you say that no, you won't get support, like if you keep telling you that, it is. Do you know that no matter how many oppositions you get, there are people that will remember you are sowing a seed in them.
6 months later, after my job was terminated, they saw me. I can't become fine ball. And one of them excited said, look at Ola. The
Hello,
people
good
I
evening.
fought for. All right, thank you.
So hold on, please. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, then thank you very much. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, please. Sorry. What's your name?
Once my cavalry greeting to you all there.
All right, thank you. Name and location,
Yeah,
please.
my name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abaranjo in Ikotu.
All right. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, concerning the first item in your agenda, that is the Hausa language being written on the money.
Yes.
You know.
On the proposed
The
BRICS
proposed
currency.
BRICS currency.
Okay. You see, this Islamization of this country, Nigeria, you know, started about 40 years ago. If you all will remember, that was 1984 when Buhari and the Biafran were there as military rulers. And then it came again in 2023 election when Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, decided to take his running mate, that is the president, vice president, Chetima. So people were saying that maybe we are going to Islamize this country. And that speculation is still ongoing. But I would say that is hello?
I can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
If I want to play the devil's advocate here, please, I don't know the effect, the negative effect of this Islamization. on Nigerians, especially the money, the name that has been tagged on that name, on that money, on that currency. That so I don't know the negative effect.
Okay.
Will it take away food from us, or will it make the Northerners to be perpetual leaders in this country?
No,
while nobody from the South will rule. So we have to be very careful when we are speculating. These are conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. No, let's not make conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is what sparked the conversation. It's evident there now. So the question a lot of Nigerians are asking is, are we all, do we all speak Hausa? Are we all from that particular region? Why use that as an official language to identify everyone? That's basically what it is. Nothing else.
Right. What if they had said, okay, bring only one language? There's no way to combine all the languages for God's sake.
Okay, so can they do it in pidgin?
Nigeria or what? So there's no need measuring on the minor.
Measuring on the minor? All right. Thank you so much for calling. I sincerely do appreciate your input. All right. 0700 903 903 903. Good evening. Hello. Hello. Good evening. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Hello.
Good evening. Mazi Richard from Germany. Call me Mazi Richard from Germany.
I am Mazi Richard from Germany. Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, in 1986, despite the how should I say it now? 1986. It was 1986 that General Babangida put Nigeria into OIC. OIC, Organization of Islamic, countries or conference. We know without any discussion. Okay, then he was a military dictator. He could do anything he wanted to do.
Okay.
So this Islamization of Nigeria didn't start today. 1986. You see that it was the General Babangida that introduced Nigeria into Islamic states, and not mind that almost 60% of Nigerians are Christians. When it comes to the South, even the so-called North, I lived there for very, very many years. Very, very many years. I lived in the North. North Central, you can say 60-70% are Christians. But the general did not care. He just put Nigeria into this Islamic state. And that is why you have all this thing coming out. They want this thing. Let me tell you, we have to be honest with ourselves. This union we have to renegotiate this union until we sit down and renegotiate this thing. Our children will be discussing what we are discussing today. Until we sit down today or tomorrow and discuss the unity of the union of Nigeria, nothing will be settled. Finally, your guest told you that we are not civilized, and you tackled him. We are not civilized. If we are civilized, how can a judge say do this and nobody will do it? How can a judge, ask DSS or INEC chairman to do this and they ignore the judge?
Order.
It's never done anywhere. It's never done anywhere. Civilization is not having electricity or this. Civilization is obey the rule of law. Any country that is lawless country is not civilized. Good night from here.
All right, thank you so much for calling. All right, 0700 903 9039. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Esther.
How are you? Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
What's your name, please?
My name is Tony. I'm calling from Akota.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah. What I want to ask that Mr. Tito Sifo, I'm not trying to ask him more, but what I want to ask him, if his grandfather had 3 sons, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Then his father is one of the sons. Another father, another son. Then there are 3 sons. Now, maybe the first born of the house, the grandfather, now the parents to say they will not answer the grandfather's name. Surname, maybe they are answering a name. Then that his own personal name, that all other sons belonging to the father, that is the younger brother, as they are going to answer his own name, would the other sons agree to answer his own name or the father's name? I want to ask that people. Let me see whether you answer that question.
All
You
right.
believe it?
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Let him come back and answer because that guy doesn't.
All right, thank you. Hello. Good evening. Turn down the volume of your listening device,
good
please.
evening, ma'am.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
All right, I think you need to call back. All right, the network is what is making you not connect with me. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you? What's your name, please?
Although I want to mention my name, but I'm from North.
Yeah, from
So
North.
I'm afraid. Yes, I'm afraid of saying my name. Because
Why? Why? What's wrong?
I know what I'm saying is. But I enjoy the program, that's why I call, and this is my first time calling people
Okay, so you're calling from where now?
on Ikeja.
From Ikeja, but you're a northerner.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You work with the Nigerian Army or the Nigerian Police. Is that why you can't call your name?
You know, I call people based on the Islamite issue.
But you say you don't want to call your name for security reasons. That's what I'm asking. Why don't you want to call your name? Do you work with the Nigerian Army or the Nigerian
Okay,
Police?
thank you. I'm Peter by name from North Country.
All right, go ahead then.
That's last year, not so often.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
You see, this issue that you were discussed, not be today start.
Peter, turn down the listening device. Turn down your radio. I can hear the feedback behind.
Okay.
Yes.
We from North Central
Hmm.
that we are Christians. Mama, today not today we face that challenge. You go to school, you graduate, being as a graduate university or any other school in Nigeria. By the time they will come and bring the circular on board, that people should come and apply job. Do you believe that when they will shortlist, you will see only two Christian names or three out of 500,000 or 6,000? You see 3 Christian names. You will continue apply job to the extent that they will even tell you face to face that is it because why you couldn't not join Muslim?
Wow.
That was the beginning of my going to school. Yes, to go who met me. That was the beginning of my going to school. Brothers are there at home. If you ask them to go to the place, will not go because where are you now? Since we graduate 16, 17 years, you are a spy graduate. You see? So these are the challenges that we are facing, and I'm very happy and I'm very enjoying this program that people are saying Islamad of this country, not be today. We from North, we know. But we just keep quiet, begin to watch each other. Based on what somebody was saying this day, that this evening, that Vice President Shettiman and the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, okay, why they would not give North Central that chance for Vice President? It happened that we are true to the person in this country. You understand?
All right.
So I have a lot of things to discuss, but this is the little one that I have to tell you people. This is I'm very, very appreciative with this program that people are doing.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Please, let's make correction of all these things in this country, please.
All right, thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you? What's your name?
Okay, this is Emmanuel from Ogun State.
All right, Mr. Emmanuel, kindly go ahead, please.
Okay, I greet you and I greet the girls in the house.
Okay.
Thank you.
What I really want to say is that let us stop deceiving ourselves that we are one Nigeria. There's not like one Nigeria.
We're one Nigeria, please.
Based on what is happening, let us tell ourselves the truth. Let us stop deceiving ourselves. What really showed that we're one Nigeria? When somebody was okay, now I want to ask a question. Now, suppose what happened by what the man did was happened by another tribe. I'm talking about the man in language, using the Hausa language. Okay. Now, suppose
it's not the man that did it. It's bricks. It's not the man that did it. It's how they identified Nigeria with the Hausa language on the yet to be veiled
proposed.
bricks. Yes, bricks
Proposed
currency, proposed currency. Yeah.
Okay, now suppose this is not being done maybe by an Igbo person. I don't know what you think will happen now. Now, why is it that when some other tribe, did anything or committed anything, they will go free. But why some tribe when they did the same thing, they will be in a very problem. They will search to get them and discipline them.
So you're
Then
saying
they're
that
telling me
if
they're not
Nigeria
like
was not written in Hausa but in any other language, that maybe persons from that particular region would have created an uproar. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
In the area of this currency, just like as one of the guests said, in this currency, now, up to this moment, nobody have told us the meaning of that Arabic or whatever.
It's not Arabic, it's Hausa language. It's just Nigeria, but in Hausa.
Language. Okay,
yes.
Hausa language. Okay, why would they use maybe Igbo or any other language to write those things? And yet we keep silent. Let us not deceive ourselves. We are not one Nigeria. There is not like one Nigeria. May God help us. One day, everything that is hidden must expose, because there's a lot of things hidden in this nation, Nigeria. One day, all of them will be exposed.
All right, thank you for calling. Thank you. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
Okay, this is Donald on the line.
All right, Donald. Calling from where, please?
From Eboda.
All right, Donald, go ahead.
Okay, like what people are discussing, right? As the way Nigeria is going is quite alarming, and it's quite unfortunate that we, the citizens, we don't have anything to say. Like one of your presenters there is saying, or one of your guests there is saying, the country has been mortgaged. If you study animal farm, that is what is playing out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because now, the way we are going, we can't speak. Nobody can say anything. Even the elite, we can't do anything. Those that are graduates can't find jobs. Nothing. I did my youth service. All of us that did youth service that are Muslims are working in airports, big parastatals. And we are one Nigeria. So how are we going to cut this mess?
All right, thank you for calling, okay? Let me read out some messages. Thank you so much. I'll still pick more calls, but let me take some messages. Good evening, Esther. My regards to your guest. It has been a very strong issue to be discussed widely. The Hausas have been proving that they are the first-class citizens in Nigeria more than any other tribe. You can see this using a particular language to represent the entire country internationally, sending a wrong signal. Take a look at the type of bills that are sponsoring in the House. A smart way to Islamize Nigeria. Christians, wake up, open your eyes. These people are moving on a fast way. Daniel from Agege. All right, Daniel. If you read the handwriting on the wall, then there was protest whose flag was raised up. TP from Ikorodu. Okay, TP, I don't understand what you wrote there.
I think what TP is trying to say during the protest.
Yeah.
There was a video circulating in the north. They were brandishing flags of Russia.
Okay.
The Russian flag. I think that's what is referring to.
Okay. Good evening, Lady E. Please, these men in the studio are making serious points. God bless them. Ikuku from Jakondi. All right. Thank you, Ikuku, for that compliment. Good evening, Esther and the guests in the studio. Federal High Court ordering INEC to punish does who did wrong? In the 2023 election is like a mother, Federal High Court, telling her son, INEC, to beat his sister, election falters, in front of a stranger, Nigerians. But behind, we know it's all a boo-boo, like your guest had rightly said. It is said that a closed sleep is a closed destiny. Anything that happens to us is good because we accepted it. And if every part of Nigeria becomes Islamic, we will have to accept it because we are only good in accepting anything and hoping that divine power moves and removes the wrongs that is done to us, which will never happen. Only when we act, the wrong stops. Lastly, please, let's release MNK. Thanks. This is Michael from Surulere. All right. Okay. Thank you, Michael. You people are now beginning to see what Nnamdi Kanu saw many years ago and started shouting on top of his voice that they want to Islamize Nigeria and they had him kidnapped. All Nnamdi Kanu said was, are now obvious to everybody. Amobi from 7 and 8. All right, Amobi. Thank you. I start with the quote of the Swedish Deputy Prime Minister Ebba Busch. Islam must adapt to Swedish values. Muslims who do not integrate must leave the country. Okay. There is a current wave of mischievous clamor and demand of Sharia in a lot of European countries, and Nigeria is not left out of such sinister agenda. If we all keep quiet, just as we are mute to Arabic writings on the Naira, as it has been introduced to the BRICS, if Sharia becomes law in Nigeria, then we will be having more members of Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Co. in the Senate, and as governors like Hamas in Palestine, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and the Iranian Islamic regime that has been responsible for killing and blinding protesters opposing their draconian rules. I have been asking, why must a presidential candidate or vice come from the north? If the wings of this sense of entitlement is not clipped now, retrogression, barbarism, extremist regime would be the order of the day. You did not put your name. Please kindly put your name next time when you send a message like this. It's very, very important. Okay, please put your name next time. Good evening, Esther, and the guest, Baruwa Sahib. Thank you, Baruwa. Esther, why are you wasting your saliva trying to explain to Osifo? We all know him to go left when all the sensible people are going right. Talking about writing Nigerian and Hausa writing, it's so absurd. These rulers aren't thinking properly. This is an indication and testament to that fact. As for Serap dragging INEC chairman to the court for contempt of court, I'm telling you that nothing will happen. It's not today the heads of agencies flout court orders. Former DSS directors flouted it many times and nothing happened till today. All right. Good evening, Esther, and to the guests in the studio, Solomon Asika from Mushi. Indirectly, they're letting us know Nigeria belongs to one part of the nation, because if not, or perhaps there's an ulterior motive behind this, because we have 3 major languages in Nigeria. Good evening, Esther, as well. Okay, thank you. That was a repetition. Thank you, Solomon, for that message. Good evening, Esther and guests of VOP family. I'm happy your guests are really doing justice to these topics this night. It is this same issue that is bringing Igbophobia. This is the reason they are scheming Igbos out of the main positions in Nigeria. I have been telling anyone that wants to care is more about religion than any other thing. This is the reason why the nation is going backward. I wait for the common man. May God save our land. Amici from Mafuluku. All right, Amici, thank you for that message. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
Steve is calling from Oba.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, you see this Nigeria, the two will provoke me this night. Now we be our own problem. We ourselves.
Okay.
And there are some people that they'll just call radio station. Every time they call, let me person just they vomit me, they cry. Somebody will be there's nothing that see that person anytime they is ever called, is always against whatever anybody's saying. Any topic you bring, that man is always talking the opposite. How can you come and be saying with the right and call with one language? See that man. See, I know that you people restrict something and everybody have their opinion, but that Mr. Osifo, that man is an advocate of something. I don't know where he's come from. Yesterday, somebody wanted to even talk, and Choma was stopping them from every time this man called this radio station. He's always annoying someone. He's always saying something. We have how many languages you are saying? In fact, it's not even the language, just to tell you that he has something off his sleeves. He's not even an outside man. He's supposed to be a Delta man, whatever I say he is. And you are tackling, you're telling us, you're supposed that we are stupid. No, he's telling me that I'm stupid to say that you cannot be using. He's indirectly telling me that I'm a stupid man for fighting for that.
Did you call to vent English now on Peter, or you called to contribute to the program? Please.
I called to vent on him because he has a problem. I think he's an APC man. They are sending it to attack anything anybody is saying here.
Thank you.
Yes, because I don't know why. I'm Nigerian. I'm not Hausa. He's not Hausa.
Calm down.
It's okay. Like I said, he has a right to react to any issue.
He doesn't have a right to be saying nonsense. I'm sorry,
it's his opinion.
Nonsense.
Please don't call and make any derogatory comments towards anyone, all right? We don't tolerate that. This station is open to anyone's perception or opinion. You may not want to go with their line of thought or their way of reasoning, but they're free to interpret, all right, or whatever it is that, based on the conversation we're having here. They shouldn't be limited to anything. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please?
My name is Amada.
Can you speak louder?
My name is Amada. I'm calling here in Lagos.
All right, Mr. Amadi, go ahead.
Thank you. So, tell you,
Hello?
during the time of made it.
Hello? Mr. Amadi, kindly call us back. Your line is actually very bad, okay? Please kindly call us back. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, okay? Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Hello?
Name and location,
Good evening.
please. Good evening.
Am I on to VOP?
Yes, you're on to VOP. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Mr. Kingsley. I'm calling from Mahmood.
All right, Mr. Kingsley, go ahead.
Okay, I don't have much to say about this Islamization of Nigeria. All I want to say is I know that not everything that we say on air.
Yes,
but
obviously.
the truth is that when you see the handwriting in the word and you read what is in the word,
Okay.
you know where we are going to.
All right.
Our vice president is Muslim and our president is a Muslim.
Okay.
And the issue is with Islamize Nigeria. Let me just tell you one thing. They will conquer it because of the condition they have given to our president. I'm just telling the truth.
Okay.
I was born and brought up in North. I school in North. I learn work in North. All my lifestyle is in the North. I know what they are capable to do. Those people they are talking about Islamization of Nigeria, they are not the men ourselves. They are the Fulanis. They have agenda. It is not that they want to do it for we to proceed, for we to have a good result in Nigeria. No, that's an agenda.
Okay.
From the Muslims in the world, they want to capture Nigeria, and you know that Nigeria is the giant of Africa. When they capture Nigeria, they will capture other countries. But what I'm saying is that what they are planning, it will not work because we believe in Nigeria. Even the Muslim man and the Christian man, the hunger that is proportional. The salvation knows about religion.
Abi, it knows no religion or tribe. They affect everybody.
It affects everybody. But our politicians, that is why should our politicians talking about Islamization of Nigeria? Is it not the Muslims and the Christians we talk about? Okay, we want to become Nigeria wants to become Christians or Muslims. Why our politicians are talking about? Because they have an agenda. That's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. Hello. Good evening. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
How are you? What's your name, please, and location?
Good evening.
Good
How are
evening.
you? My
I'm
name
fine.
is Bates from Egbeda, calling from Egbeda.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Esther, if you look the handwriting on the wall, you can see that we are not one. Why should they use the Hausa language to write this thing they wrote? We are 3 tribes, more than 3 tribes in Nigeria. Why should they use Hausa language? That's the question. And this man called Peter Osifo on Friday, Cordelia show.
Yes.
Cordelia with Darlington, with Barrister Darlington. Osifo was shaking on the studio. Come closer to the mic. Come closer to the mic. You don't know what to say again. But if it is outside, Barrister doesn't ask him. If you're outside, but you are saying another thing. But when you come to the studio now, you are saying another thing.
Barrister Darlington answered him, Abi. He answered him very well.
Yes, the man is not a patriotic Nigerian. I don't know what APC have given him that he used to do like this. That man is not a patriotic Nigerian. I'm telling you the fact. Thank you, Esther Nwachukwu.
Thank you. We could not leave Mr. Peter Osifo. I beg go 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. All right, we lost that connection. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm Samuel.
Hello.
I'm calling from my 12.
Okay, Samuel from my 12. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I want to speak about
Hello.
the Nigerian system
Okay.
according to Islamization.
All right.
like somebody said, in 1986, Nigeria was registered into the OIC.
Okay.
And it has been progressive from then on. Today in Nigeria, we have a different law operating in the north, a different one operating in the south. My major concern is that our politicians in the south are the problems we have. If you look at all of them from the south, southwest, down to the southeast, to the south, there's no unity among them. And that is why we find it difficult to fight as southern part of Nigeria and succeed. Because we lay allegiance to the north. You see, the problem is, I see Nigeria, I don't want to be pessimistic, but Nigeria, the only thing that will work for Nigeria is a revolution. I'm waiting for that day.
No, please don't call for a revolution on this. No, I'm going to cut you off here. Please don't call for a revolution right on this platform. All right, please, it's very important. Be mindful, be demure, be cutesy. Be careful, please. Don't call for a revolution on this platform. All right. Good evening, Esther, and good evening to your guests in the studio. I don't know that after Barrister Darlington finished Peter Osifo with facts on Friday, he will come on radio to continue to run the way he used to. My name is Michelin from Ojo. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. How are you, ma? Your name is Peace. All right, go ahead, Peace.
I want to talk about this writing on the language.
Okay, writing on the what? Hello. Yes, but your line is actually breaking. So writing on the what, please?
All right.
Hello. Wazobia. Wazobia is not Nigeria now. It's just Nigeria, but written in Hausa.
Why are they always pushing it out for making orders? It's so good. For people, Sama will never say. One, I don't know what they think is doing. We say we like to and they're talking about it. God forbid it. Good night.
All right, good night. I don't know if you guys were able to hear what Peace said clearly.
Yes.
It was a little bit rough. All right, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number. And okay, good evening, Esther and the guest, Barwa Said. Esther, read my message. I'm reading it already. I read it out already. Barua, I already read your message. Okay. Evening, Esther. I don't know why you're not reading my messages. Are you beginning to do Ogini? Wow. Okay, who is this? Dio from... Okay, Dio. Hello, good evening, Esther. I don't know why you're not reading my messages. Are you beginning to do eye service or hypocrisy for this government? You started it when you invited Oga Darlington to judiciary. You didn't read my message and you said you read my messages, which you didn't. Since then, you have been ignoring my message. So you want to ignore me because I'm saying the truth. Whoa. That the foundation that brought this... into power is not credible. So all that he does won't work. Like Dele Farotimi said, you can't bribe your way into power and expect development. It won't. It's a shame the worst of us is ruining the best of us. Daya from Fagwa, please. I sincerely do apologize. I did not deliberately not read your messages. There are tons of messages here. So if I didn't get to see yours, that means I didn't get to read it out. So nothing personal, all right? And our reportage here is unbiased, unsponsored. We're not representing anybody. We're representing the people. All right. Abedin from Bagada says, I totally agree with your guest that we're not civilized when it comes to elections. We don't take them seriously enough, and our lack of participation is a major issue. I always travel from Lagos to my village of Kwara State to cast my vote. If only everyone shared my commitment. Imagine the positive change we could bring about if each of us took the time to participate fully in the democratic process. It's all about making our voices heard and holding leaders accountable. Let's hope more people will follow my lead and make a difference in the next election. All right, thank you very much for that particular message. Hello, good evening. We'll soon be wrapping up. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Name and location, please. Kindly turn down your listening device, your radio. Turn it down.
Okay. Mazi Azubuike Okorocha.
All right, Mazi Azubuike Okorocha. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, Esther, you see Nigeria. You say we are in one Nigeria.
Yes, we're one
Let me
Nigeria.
ask you one question. Do you know the meaning of naira? That naira you are using, do you know the meaning? Never allow Igbo man lose.
Why?
No, he said we are one Nigeria. Go and
No, now don't interpret the naira like that now.
I'm telling you, he said we are one Nigeria.
Please
Okay,
don't
now,
interpret naira like that. Okay, go
These
ahead.
people are planning to Islamize Nigeria for long. Have been happening, and we are telling them. They say it can't happen, and they are from their very nose, their very eyes. This thing is happening. After listen, well, you know that Turkey was a Christian country before,
okay,
and this is how they started. And we are telling Christians that these people are coming to Islamize Turkey. They say no, it can't happen. Today, Turkey is a full Islamic country. This is what they plan to Nigeria, and they are saying it can't happen. You know, it's happening from their very eyes. They are very nose. It's happening. So we are not one Nigeria.
We are one Nigeria. We are one Nigeria, please. I will not agree to that particular statement on the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We need to wrap up now, please. What would you say, lastly, as you're taking a bow statement before we close off the program?
All right, like I've said, I'll keep saying it a million times. The very time Nigerians, from the presidency to the local government officials, in their leadership positions, the very moment they start doing things in a civilized way, that will mark the turning point of Nigeria. I came up with a word, I've seen it, dictatocracy. Which is a system of governance that uphold the interests of the leader against the masses. It is dictator in practice, but passively it is democracy. We have a system of things where the cry of the masses is not being heard. We have a system where you don't have a right as a citizen of Nigeria. We have a system of things that the considerations for your comfort is not in their dictionary. They remove it from their policy. The time that Nigerians in their leadership positions will begin to leave the interests of the individual persons and consider the masses, that will mark the turning point. Why am I saying so? You know, a lot of things the callers are talking about, Mazi, Kalu, and the rest of them like this. Every human being has a right to express himself. Except when your expression contravenes the law, I won't be able to.
Or infringes on the freedom of another person.
But if that is not the thing, you can't. You know,
all right.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bamidele, please go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's time Nigerians rise up. Like I always say on this program, no Messiah is coming anywhere.
Okay.
We are our own Messiahs.
All right.
From the least to the greatest of us. We need to come together, work towards the unity of this great country and towards the prosperity of this country. We should stop delegating our duties to people who will take advantage of us. Let us wake up from our slumber and let us do right.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the conversation. You actually said quite a lot. I must say that you were able to give you very good insights into the conversations that we had today. For some of you that I couldn't read your messages, I sincerely do apologize. Nothing personal. And for some of you that I couldn't take your calls, we sincerely do apologize. My name is Esther Mwachuku. You can follow me on social media, specifically on X, Esther Mwachuku, at Esther Mwachuku. On Instagram is at Esther Nwaz, ESTANWAZ. On Facebook, Esther Mwachuku. And on YouTube, you can subscribe is Artistic Media, ESTIQMEDIA. That's my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe in there. As usual, Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. The program will continue, the conversation will continue next week. Do have yourself an amazing evening. Bye for now.